You've been waiting, waiting for something to change, waiting to feel ready, waiting for the universe to give you a signal. But did you know that the only sign you need is inside you? Time continues to pass. Every second is a lost opportunity. And you know something has to change, but you wonder, how? Where do I start? You don't have to wait any longer. Today you can start transforming your life in just 10 minutes. Did you know that everything you've been looking for is at your fingertips right now? Everything you need to change your life is in the decision you make today. Because in 10 minutes, you can take control. It is not magic, it is decision. And that decision is in your hands. Think about this. Every time you doubt, every time procrastinates, you are losing a step towards your best version. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is now. Each action, although small, brings you closer to what you're able to be. Today, in just 10 minutes, you can take control of what you've been missing. Stop waiting for things to change for magic, because the change does not come from waiting. It comes from acting. Every step, however small, is a step toward your best version. Every action you take today takes you closer than you always dreamed. And everything begins at this precise moment. Stop looking for excuses. Stop waiting for circumstances to change for themselves. Because the real change, begins when you decide, right now, to do something different. You don't have to wait any longer. You don't have to ask permission. You just have to start. What really limits you is not the fear of failure. It is a lack of action. Fear dissipates when you act, when you do what you fear most. At this time, you can start changing your life. And if you wonder how to do it, the answer is to take the first step now. It is a process, yes. It is not easy, we know it. But every day you compromise, it is a day that you advance. And in just 10 minutes, it can start creating a new story for you. Because the future is not out there waiting for you. The future begins today. It's time to stop waiting. How much more are you going to let it happen before taking that first step? Because time is not going to stop for you. The opportunity is here. All you need is to believe in yourself and take action now. This is the time. Take the first step now. Do it today, because the future begins with a decision you make at this moment. If this video has inspired you, don't let it pass. Click the subscription button and start now. Share this video with someone who also needs a change. You are not alone in this. It is your moment. Take the first step today. Do it now and start your transformation. Leave us in the comments how you plan to change your life in the next 10 minutes. This is just the beginning. Stay connected and subscribe to more videos that will guide you on your way to change. You know something has to change. You know that insecurity, be trapped, is not the life you want for you. And yet you are still waiting. You keep delaying because you fear the unknown. You fear change. You fear the consequences of what could be. But let me tell you something that may sound hard. The real pain, the only pain that will accompany you throughout your life, is to never have tried. Fear will never go. Fear will not disappear if you keep waiting for things to align, or if you keep waiting for the right time to appear. Because the right moment, as you know, never comes on its own. The right moment, you believe it with each small action. If you're still standing waiting, you will only see how life escapes you. It is time to stop being a spectator and become the protagonist of your story. You've stopped many times to think, why am I like that successful person? What do they have for me? The answer is in the decisions that make the 2 days. They are not special. What makes them different is the will to take action. The will to get up even if they don't feel like it. The will to move forward even when others criticize or tell them that they cannot do it. That is the difference. The difference is in acting, moving forward regardless of fear or doubts. What would happen if you could look back in a year and see what have you advanced? What would happen if, when looking back, you could tell yourself, I succeeded not because it was easy, but because I never stopped trying? That is the difference between living a life full of regrets or living a life full of proud of having taken every step that took you where you are now. Right now, at the same time, you can make a decision that will change your future. But that decision is in your hands. And everything starts with a single action. Instead of spending another day with the mind full of doubts, take that first step. Take it. although not you feel that you are prepared. Take it. Even if you don't see how everything will be resolved immediately, just take the step. Because what matters is not to have all the answers right now, but to have the courage to move towards the unknown. Every time you don't take action, fear wins. Every time you stop, fear catches you, paralyzes you. But the key to getting rid of that fear is not waiting for it to disappear. The key is to face it, to move forward even if you feel fear. Because that fear is just a sign that you are on the right path. If you did not feel fear, you would be stagnant in your comfort zone, and comfort is the enemy of growth. Every time you face a fear, every time you look in the eye and overcome it, you take one step towards your best version. And although those steps may seem small, in reality, each of them is a victory. Each of those little steps is what leads you to be a person who only dreams, to be a person who does. See, you older time are you going to wait? How many more times are you going to tell yourself that tomorrow will be the day you will start changing? The day is today. This is the time. And if you don't take action now, I promise you, tomorrow will be the same scenario. But if you decide to take the first step right now, if you decide to move forward, even if you feel that the road is uncertain, I assure you that in a few months you will look back and see everything you have achieved. You will see how your life has begun to change, how you have begun to grow, and how, instead of staying behind, you have taken control. Time does not expect anyone, and life will not give you second opportunities if you keep postponing what you know you have to do. But if you decide to act now, if you take control of your life, you are creating the future you deserve. And that future begins with the decision you make today. Remember that life is not something that happens for you, but something that happens for you. Things do not always align perfectly, but when opera meets to act, the universe tends to collaborate. When you decide to change your life, the doors begin to open. The opportunities begin to appear, not because they're magical, but because you decided to do what others are not willing to do. Move. The action generates momentum. The movement takes you to new opportunities, new connections, and new experiences. And most importantly, it takes you to a new version of yourself. Have you noticed something? Every time you think you are trapped, you are actually on the border of a deep change. The most successful people are not the ones who never fail, but those who do not stop after an error. Those who learn, those that rise again and again, those who understand that failure is not the end, but simply one more lesson on the way to success. And best of all, you don't have to do it alone. We all need a community of people who support us, to give us that impulse when we feel emos decayed. If you join us, you'll be part of a community of people who, like you, are committed to change, to grow and improve. You don't have to do it alone, because we are here to support you in every step of the road. Right now, I want you to make a promise. Promise that today it will be no other day of doubt and excuses. Promise that this is a time when you decide to take control of your life. Promise that, regardless of what happens, you will move on. That commitment is what will change you. That commitment is the first step towards your transformation. Each action, every small step, takes you closer to your goal. Take the first step now, and do not wait for the circumstances to be perfect. If you wait for everything to fit perfectly, you will never advance. If you expect to feel 100% prepared, there will always be something that stops you. But if you decide to act now, if you promise to take that first step, you will begin to see the results. And those results, they will give you the confidence to move forward, to continue growing, and to continue building the life you really want. Have you ever stopped to think about everything you would like to achieve, but do you feel that time escapes you? You have wondered if you will ever be the person you imagine, the one who leads a full, successful, and happy life. But you still don't know where to start. Maybe you have spent days, weeks, months, waiting for something to happen, waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. But what you have not realized is that the perfect moment, that moment you expect so much, is here. It is in front of you, right now. Today is the day. You know what happens when we don't take action. What happens when we are still waiting? It is as if we were trapped in a routine, in an invisible prison built by our own doubts, fears, and excuses. Time continues to pass, and we are still there without moving, without advancing. And every day you spend waiting for the ideal moment, that same day he is moving away from the life you dream. Have you noticed that? We are wasting time, and that is the most valuable resource we have. But let me tell you something. Everything you need to start to change is already in you. You don't have to wait to feel ready. You don't have to wait for circumstances to be perfect. If you keep waiting, time will escape between your fingers. The moment is now. I want you to stop for a moment and think, why do you still postpone your dreams? Why are you still delaying what you know is important for you? The answer, many times, is in fear. The fear of failure, the fear of what they will say, the fear of not being good enough. But did you know that fear is not real? It is just an emotion, a mental barrier that you can demolish yourself. Fear does not define you. You are bigger than any fear you can have. You have probably thought many times about what you could achieve in everything you would like to do, in Ella's goals in mind, but something slows you down. Procrastination, indecision, lack of trust, fear of the unknown. You know something has to change, but you don't know where to start. Here's the key. The first step, that little step you take today, is what makes the difference. You do not need to have everything solved. You do not need to have everything clear. You just need to start. Take the first step, and the rest will begin to fit. So simple. The first step is the one that breaks the inertia, is the one that takes you from where you are now where you want to be. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be a step forward. And now you wonder, why is it so important to take that first step? Because every time you decide to move forward, even if it is a small step, the universe answers you. The opportunities begin to appear. The doors open. The right people reach your life. It is a chain of events that starts when you decide to move. And that is the magic of action. The action generates momentum. The action takes you to places that you did not imagine. And best of all, you have the power to start right now. I know you feel sometimes tired, confused, or even lost. You look in the mirror and ask yourself, how did I get here? Why haven't I achieved everything I know I am able to achieve? But what you may not have noticed is that that questioning is the first step towards your transformation. You are recognizing that something is not working, and that recognition is the first indication that you are ready for change. Sometimes we need that spark of discomfort to wake up, to realize that the path we are in is not what we want to follow. But the most important thing is that now you have the opportunity to change it. The first step toward transformation is to recognize that you have the power to change your destiny. Do you know what happens when you decide to take action? You begin to see that excuses, doubts, and fear end, or they are more than passing clouds that dissipate when you act. Because action is the antidote against fear. Every time you make a decision, even if it is small, you are building your trust. Every time you go ahead, even if the path is uncertain, you are reinforcing your determination. The key is to keep moving. No matter how big the obstacle is or how difficult the situation is, what really matters is that you continue to take steps, even if they are small, but always forward. You may think, what if failure? What if I'm not good enough? It is natural to have those thoughts, but I assure you that the greatest failure is not to try. The biggest mistake is not having given you the opportunity to try it. And don't forget, failure is not the end. Failure is a lesson. Every time we fall, we get up stronger. Every time we fail, we learn something new about ourselves. Failure is not your enemy. It is your teacher. When you decide to change, when you decide to take action, everything starts to change around you. You become the person who always dreamed, because what defines your life is not your circumstances, but your decisions. Every decision you make today creates the life that you will live tomorrow. So why wait more? Do it now. Do not wait for the circumstances to change for themselves. The perfect moment does not exist. The perfect moment is now. Today is the day that everything can change for you. Today is the day you decide to start taking action. No matter what happened in the past, no matter how many mistakes you've made, what matters is that this is the time you decide to start over. And you won't do it alone. I am here to accompany you, to drive you, so that you know that the change is possible and that the first step is all you need. So I ask you a question. Are you ready to take that first step? Are you ready to take action and start transforming your life today? The future he is waiting and starts with what you decide to do now. Click the subscription button. Share this video with someone who also needs a change. You are not alone in this. Today is the first day of the rest of your life, and it is in your hands. Do it now.